Hello, welcome to the News of the Now. I'm Jane, and I'm going to be reporting on the forces that are impacting your life. But first, please presence with me with a breath. This is a big transmission that's coming ahead. So we are, I believe, an intelligent body, and that everything that's happening in this now moment is being shaped by how we are engaging with it. We are no longer just watching this world change. We are actively shaping it and participating in it with every thought, word, and action. So I'm here as a guide and a mirror, and I work with the 4 foundational frequencies of love, acceptance, compassion, and creativity. These are the living codes that restore coherence to humanity. For reals. So this is an invitation to remember your unique path in this infinite living web and to truly participate in creation. Hold on to your britches for this one. Must make video on this difference of relationship with Christ. There are the humans who relate with Christ as this is for me, for example, so I can speak to this one first and foremost with clarity, because it's my now. But the Christ, Jesus Christ, Christ was not his last name. It was the state of being that he was. He was Christed. It was it's an energetic body of the divine. So it's being the divine here on earth. It's living as our God self, living as love, unconditional love, radical acceptance, deep compassion, grace. Yep. Not saying that he was above experiences that humans feel, like anger and things, right? And he didn't let that get the best of him. He let the best of him be. So that is what Christed is. We can go into more esoteric quantum knowledge of it, and we can call it the Ka body. We can call it an etheric body. It's literally an emanation of the consciousness of the frequency that resonates at a higher bandwidth and amplitude, so it actually reverberates, expresses, and shines more like light. There's an energetic center up here that actually is above the chakra system, because everything is energy and it clusters together in things that we call forms, so like human and tree and stuff like that. And so there's a cluster of energy, and the way it spins here, we call it like the universe, but it spins here, and once it's so online that it looks like a halo. It's our connection with the divine, okay? So that is what Jesus was, and his message was like, I'm not special, y'all. You can be this, do this too. It is you. You have to remember that the kingdom of God is within. Heaven is within. God is within. The I am is you. You are the I am. Remember that, be that, speak it, see it, say it. Like, you are it, brothers. But no, that's not exactly what happens. Because what happens is that some people then turn to Christians, and they become right. They become the I'm right, you're wrong, and if you aren't like me, if you don't judge others like me, then you're demonic and you're evil and you're going to hell. And the platforms in which they stand on of like, if you are literally anything that is outside of this dogmatic expression and teachings of the Bible, which the Bible is not the full teachings of Jesus. It's not. Hate to break it to you. I'm not saying that it's not accurate, but it's inaccurate because it's incomplete. So that being said, those that look at the Bible and say that that is the only way, Jesus never said the Bible is the only way. However, he said, I am the only way. The I is the I am that he was talking about. He wasn't talking about me, Jesus. Nice to meet you. You got to pass through these gates of me. No, it was the I am that I am. You got to remember that you are the I am, and that is the way. However, again, there are Christians that get so high and mighty about how they are right and how everybody else is wrong. They are then wearing the seat of they're wearing the pants of the judge. That is not the way, my friends. Hate to break it to you. So you got that. Then you have the people that are anti-Christians. Saw someone recently complaining about how there was Christian music playing in an office, and she doesn't want to go to this place of business anymore because they were playing Christian music, and she just found that so offensive. Cool, fine, find it offensive. I care not. I get it. I don't necessarily want to go somewhere that's playing the call to prayer all day, every day. Like, I get it. Someone also likened it to church bells, at which point I thought church bells, that's like saying a banjo is a church instrument. No, it's an instrument. It's a sound of an instrument. Bells are not dogmatic. Handpans are not dogmatic. Wind chimes are not dogmatic. They're instruments. But anyway, I love that comparison of through a loudspeaker, the call to prayer that is so loud it's interruptive. So no matter what type of life you're living, if you're actually like living as the I am, and then someone's like, hey, look over here, you gotta do it my way, then that is definitely the same as church bells. Like, I'm like, what? Anyway, but those people, if I had to put them in a category, you know what I'd put them in? Anti-Christ. So the people that are literally anti-Christian anything, now I get it if you're anti-Christian nationalist and like crazy Christian and like the judgy pants, yeah, because they suck. They do. Because no matter what you do, you're not going to be good enough for that version of Christian. But if the Christ teachings itself, people that are anti-Christ, ooh, those are fun seats to sit in now, aren't they? To be anti-Christ. Anti-unconditional love, anti-radical acceptance, anti-compassion, anti-grace, anti-peace. Spouting off how they're so offended. They're so offended because you didn't use my pronoun correctly, and you're playing this music in this establishment that I don't want to frequent anymore. Well, lucky for you, you got free choice. Lucky for you, your control situation that's like, I'm determined to tell people what to call me when I'm not around. Like, what? Anyway, that's not narcissistic at all. Anyway, I am calling the pot and the kettle both black right now. I give zero shits. Because there is an anti-Christ way of being. And it's the anti-all Christians. You can be, we can be anti anything we want. We can be anti-hate. We can be anti-hate. But the fun thing about being anti-anything is that we create more of that in which we hate. So we are anti-drugs, so we're going to fight it. We're going to fight the drugs. Well, guess what? We're going to have more drugs. We're going to fight the war. Well, we become a fighter in the war now, don't we? Therefore, we create more war. We become the fighters of the Christians. We're fighting. Like, it's anti-anything is literally perpetuating it. So then if we actually were being like the Christ, then we would be loving and kind, and we literally shift our frequency. Jesus was like, it was like him, right? Like the story was about him. Do I believe that he was the only Christed individual ever walking the earth? No, I don't. However, I do believe that he was the first man who had a story enough that enough people saw and witnessed because of the relationship that people had with men as opposed to women, because women were considered like less than, and they just didn't hold a position of like power, if you will. I'm not saying Jesus held a position of power, however, because he had a dick, he was more acknowledged for his experience. That's not my point, though. My point is that he wasn't the only one that had the teachings and the knowledge and the way of being and the tools and the practices. He was sharing all of them. In fact, he has some disciples who were also teaching it, especially after his death. Those would be the books that were left out of the Bible. So, if we each embody our Christed nature, then we are the body of Christ. Not like I know that I'm better and I know that I'm loving, or just that I do love bigger and I do have compassion. No, it's like, how do I feel that in my body? How do I walk that upon this earth? How do I show up on this, in this like game show of life? Do I actually tend to the land? Do I honor and respect and love the children? Can I play with the children? Do I tend to the elders? Do I care about them? Am I kind to animals? I mean, really, it's so simple. But because there are crazies on either end of anything we're looking at, because some people are so narrow-minded and singularly focused that they lose sight of the bigger picture. When we lose sight of the bigger picture, we get so pigeonholed, focused on one little thing, and when we say that this one little thing is the only way, the right way, then what we do is we become crazy about it. So then you get the Christian nationalists, or the Zionistic Jews, or the Islamic Muslims that are like doing some crazy shit. And like in this group and that group and the other group, like there are groups of every sect of human that are just a wee bit wackadoodle. But what we do is we find a sect that is least like our own, and we like attack and are anti that. And so we're putting all of our energy into a pinpoint of this like whole disco ball of humanity. So all of our energy is going to that. And I wonder if these people don't realize that the whole disco ball is God, and that each of these faces on this disco ball is still God. And that when we can love and embrace the all of this disco ball, all of these expressions, we become the disco ball. We become a holier expression. Hey, please don't bark. We become a holier expression of the divine. We become Christed. We become a larger eminence of the bigness of our holy light. Literally. Our nervous system shifts. Our body starts to calibrate and recalibrate and like align in such a way that our energy flows more readily. Our mind becomes more clear. We become more happy because we find the humor in this whole experience, remembering that it's limited time only and we're also eternal. How's that for just a cosmic joke? So my point is, as we are being asked to look within ourselves, it's really easy for people to instead point fingers and blame others for their own discomfort, for their own inability to come into a nervous system regulation, for their own lack of patience, for their own lack of acceptance, for their own lack of love. And I get it. There's a lot of crazy shit happening out in the field right now that we probably aren't liking. I get it. And we can sit and grumble about it forever. Or we can do something about it. Our frequency is what changes it. Literally, we are a part of the field. Everything is energy. Imagine a shit ton of light bulbs, and you got a whole bunch of light bulbs that are turned off, and everybody's like, oh my god, I hate that it's so dark in here, and I'm gonna keep my light bulb off too because I hate talking about the light, because I'd much rather talk about the fact that there's no light in here. I'm gonna blame all the people that turned off their own light bulbs and the whole system that's corrupted and it's harvesting our energy, keeping our light bulbs off. However, the more people light their light bulbs, literally, the whole scene changes. Then we each can live a Christed life. That's the point. The point is to live Christed. It's a way of being. It's a consciousness. It's a felt sense in the body. So that means we have to be in our body. We have to feel it. We have to literally not dissociate from it. We have to see others, and no matter how much we hate what they're doing, no matter how much of an antichrist they are, and I mean this wholeheartedly, we do not have to engage with them. We do not have to try to turn their light bulbs on. But I'll be damned if I turn my light bulb off to join Antichrist beings. I hope this is heard. I hope that you understand what, and land. I hope that what I'm saying is landing. This is a very important message. And now is when more people are starting to see how many light bulbs are off in the world. People don't know that their light bulb might be on a dimmer switch, that we can up our wattage, truly. And that wherever your light bulb is in this grand scheme of the light bright o' life, that it's fine, it's good, you're exactly where you need to be, and we can get brighter, we can become more Christed. And I'm seeing people, I want to say this and then I'm going to hop off. I'm seeing a lot of people who are turning to Christ right now that are like, yo, Jesus, like, he came to me and like, I get it now. Yes, I understand. When Yeshua came to me and I had my direct experience, when I had my direct experience with he and Mary Magdalene together, dear God Almighty, that was amazing. Epic. God, it was epic. God. I hope that energy, that felt sense that I got when that came into my field of awareness, when it came into my body, when it came into literally where I was, that's what I want to be. And that light is so bright, so magnificent, so healing, so glorified. But it doesn't talk about how wrong anyone else is. It ain't got time for that. It literally doesn't resonate at the frequency of judgment. So if anyone's out there that's like, I am so Jesus girl now, or Jesus dude now, great. Fuck yeah. And if you're also like, and everything else is evil and wrong, and they're all gonna go to hell, and I'm better than them, I must say, womp womp, you maybe missed the mark a little bit. That's okay, I'm just pointing it out. Because if it feels like an egoic, like I'm right, not Christed. It's egoic. I'm not judging it, like literally just informing. Here you go. Just being informational right now, as best I can. I've seen a lot of just, hey, please don't bark. Hey, Rosie, come here. Please don't bark anymore. Thank you. So anyway, I think I'm complete. And let this land, just let it land. Contemplate it. If you were to ask yourself, like, what would Jesus do? WWJD. Would he have spent his time walking around the earth talking about how wrong everybody else is? Or was he too busy keeping his shit aligned amidst a crazy world while he was pretty much being hunted down? He knew what his final result was going to be. Like, he saw it happen. Like, he knew it was happening. It was going to happen. And he still lived in love and as love. He still professed the message of the one, which is, I am. I am. And it's not just me, I am. It's we all are the I am. When we remember, truly, when we remember that we are the I am, We live as the I am. When we live as the I am, everything we see is that. Everything that we think is that. Everything that we speak is that, which means that the world that we live in is reflective of the I am, which means we live heaven on earth. So you do you. And this is a choice point. Make your choice. You're loved either way. That's the fun thing. We're eternal. So thank you for listening to this transmission of the Eternal Now. I'm sending you so much love, and until next time, I'll see you in another now.